Robert, obviously everybody that's driving a vehicle is stressed about this the news that the only driver's license card machine that the department had has broken. So where do we stand now, and what do we do?
Currently, where we stand is incompetence has finally been exposed. They've been able to blank paper over it for quite a while now. But effectively what has happened is years and years of incompetence has been exposed. And it's come to a crunch. But I think what people don't realize is the national security impact that driving licenses have on our nation. And it's all very well, it's a driving license, but what about the impact on it? Yeah. Just remember, we also operate internationally. We've got a lot of people going out internationally. A lot of people actually take the driving license card as a face value document in terms of identification. So, you know, there's a hell of a security breach around all this type of thing. And when we look at the way it's been handled, it goes back a long time. And I can recall back, if I'm correct, around about 2011, there was a treasury approval for a new machine to be purchased. And ever since then, they've basically played roulette with this equipment.
Yeah.
They boasted about more than 200 million rand in surpluses every year. They don't use it. The driving license card money is ring-fenced. Treasury has approved it. The money doesn't go into the national treasury like most of the other income. It's actually ring-fenced, and it stays with the RTMC to fund the upgrades and the technology and that. Where's that money gone?
Yeah.
200 million surplus, I'm going to be honest with you, is not much.
Yeah.
We should be way more than that. So where's that money gone? You know, if we have a look at these organizations, all these agencies that have grown up in the Department of Transport, you look at PASA, you look at SANRail, you look at now. I'd love to have a look at the RTMC's offices. You know, if you have a look, we've got the National Department of Transport with all the director generals, and they're stuck in some old building that's 50, 60 years old. All these agencies open up, and their CEOs get millions. They live in these corporate offices that will scare Anglo-America. And they're allowed to go, and that's public money. And now we sit with a situation where this machine has gone down, and it's not something that they can claim, oh, it's an emergency, or this just happened. This was foreseen. We've been screaming about this for the last 10 years. Since 2010, 2011, thereabout, when that approval was given, they've submitted at least five that I know of, requests for proposals. And this has garnered international interest to provide them new machines to us. But on 5 separate occasions, they've never taken it up and completed the proposal. For what reason? It wasn't money. They've got a surplus.
Yeah, I think I'm asking the absolute obvious question here. How is it that the whole system depends on one machine? I mean, what's the scale of this machine? We see now that it's fallen, it's like literally collapsed and broken down.
Yeah,
but
look,
how can it be just one machine?
This is a whole thing where it goes back to. You must remember it was originally a private enterprise that got the contract back in the 1990s, I think 96, 97, thereabout. There was a BEE conglomerate which consisted of 3 companies, and they made up the core to put this group together and bring this machine in. At that stage, they did an estimate on how many cards they needed, and they basically brought in, I think, in actual maximum capacity, that machine could only turn out 7,000 cards per day if it was operating 24/7.
Yeah.
So just that alone, if you calculated it, up until 15 years ago, It was already exceeding capacity. That's why we have backlogs.
Yeah.
So now we have the minister and the MEC in Gauteng opening up more centers. They're opening up card application centers just for renewal of cards and that in the Gautrain and all these places and in kiosks and things like that. It doesn't help. The sausage machine can only take so much. And we've got one. So we've got all these additional applications coming in and they just stuffing it down the same funnel. It had to break.
For the man on the street now, as we stand here, what is the way forward? What's the implications going to be?
The only way forward, and I'm a strong supporter of this, I've been saying this right from the beginning, turn the driving license card validity to 10 years.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
That will immediately do away with the backlog.
Yeah.
That would immediately do away. The reason, I'm telling you now, there's only one reason that they will not make it 10 years. And that is money.
Yes.
That's the only reason. That it immediately cuts down their income by half. And at this moment in time, at the National Department of Transport, the mantra is user pay. Because they can't work within their budget. They can't work within their allocation. They've got this ring fenced and it's a license to print money. And that's all it is. If you have a look at what's happening, these new fees that came out last year in October, they want to charge additional fees through the RTMC. They now want to deliver your card to you for a fee or extra fee. All these surplus things they want to start doing. That is just income generation. They've got a little cash cow there. And they want to generate income for all these funny little projects they're doing. These National Traffic Center, the training college that they're establishing under the RTMC, these fancy buildings that they're spending millions on to build and things like that. What's wrong with the existing buildings? You know, it served a purpose for how many years?
Exactly.
Up in Pretoria, we've got Buchanan's Cliff Traffic College. Why do we have to go and rebuild an entire new college for the RTMC when they could move in there and they could upgrade it?
They can just make it pretty.
The Public Works Department owns how many buildings throughout this country that are sitting empty? Why can't they move in and make it fit for purpose? It's got to be new, it's got to be fancy, so they can swan it around in these things. And I think it's time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has there been a timeline? Do we know how long it's going to take for this machine to get fixed? I mean, how long are we going to be facing this problem?
They are absolutely dead quiet.
So just good luck to the motorists.
Yeah, if it wasn't for the fact that I came out with this thing, and because previously in November I made a prediction that this equipment was going to break. And unbeknown to me that at that time, when I made the prediction, it had already been dead for 3 weeks.
Wow.
This is one small part of the problem with licensing in this country at the moment. It's impacting negatively on everyday life for everybody in this country. And there's a very few bunch of bureaucrats that are taking decisions that negatively affect us. And it's actually time that they were pointed out and they were held accountable for what they're causing.